Did your elementary school teacher ever make you go and stand in the corner when all you were doing was trying to speak the truth? Is Barack Obama secretly Hawaiian? Are the Church of Scientology secretly trying to take over your town? Do the Jews secretly control the Israeli government? Don't get cold feet just yet, because it's always 90 degrees here in the conspiracy corner. Or at least that's what they want you to think.
Looking out into the night sky is much like looking at the blank corners and unfilled in edges of old maps, in that there have scrawled across them, "Here be dragons." And one of these descriptors of the blank corners of maps was Mr. Frank Drake, a guy from the 60s who worked as a scientist.
Hold on. Not Drake and Josh? This guy's not Drake Bell?
Josh is a different scientist, and Bell basically invented like the modern telecom industry, like the laser and shit. No, Mr. Frank Drake here, his big deal was, why don't we try and answer this Fermi paradox with a simple mathematical formula?
And the Fermi paradox should be out now. And watch it if you haven't, and if you have, watch it again, because it is very relevant to this episode.
Watch it. It's a glitch in the Matrix.
A proud sponsor of today's episode, The Matrix. Pick the red pill, because the blue one is Viagra. And if your boner lasts more than 4 hours, well, talk to your doctor. Blue Chew.
Well, the Drake equation asks not only about how long does intelligent life in the galaxy last, but Mr. Drake here had an awfully big mind boner when he got it.
A mind boner.
I forget who it was. I don't think it was Mr. Drake here that we're talking about. But in one of my engineering classes, maybe you've heard about this, I had a professor describe to me that it's often more important to just come up with a number on the fly.
For what?
Well, for initial estimates for when your boss asks you about something. And that...
Okay.
That there's some principle where the more digits that you have in an equation and the more guesstimates you have, that they'll sort of even each other out, all these fudge factors. Right? And so if you have, one thing that you overestimate on, and then another that you underestimate on, it'll eventually pan out and be a fairly viable estimate, at least.
Is this so? When you give a guess, like it's supposed to be educated, like it's not supposed to be. The value is supposedly supposed to be somewhere in the value of 5 and 10, and you say 26.
Like order of magnitude.
Okay. So it has to be reasonable, not this outlier kind of value. Okay.
And I never been able to remember the name, but we're able to find it somewhere else. But again, I don't think it was Gauss, but it was one of the big 20th century guys. It could have been Fermi, but I don't think it was. No, Drake here is working on the same idea. That if we just get an equation of 7 different variables here, and we throw a few educated guesses at it, we should come up with a pretty solid number of civilizations that exist in the Milky Way galaxy, with which communication might be possible. So let's take a look at the equation here. And I'm sure, people listening to a podcast in a very audio format would love to hear about mathematical equations and shit.
So like in the movies they always talk about on how yes, my theorem or my whatever equation, my algorithm blah 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 came up with this percentage and came up with an answer on where the killer was located, and we found it based off of mild deduction. Are you telling me it's like that? Like this is like they use the Drake equation inside of pop culture TV references, and all it is like just an equation with like 7 variables in it?
Well, let me run through real quick how the formula here works.
Okay. It's not like AB x to the 7th
plus
whatever.
This is just grade school level multiplication. Okay. That's all it is. So Mr. Drake sits down and he asks, all right, what's the number of technologically advanced civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy? And again, this is back in the 60s, so like they didn't really have galaxies figured out yet. They sort of figured that the galaxy and the observable universe were more or less the same thing, that the galaxy was made up pretty much all the universe. They didn't figure out that there was jillions of galaxies and shit.
Have you seen Hail Mary?
No, I haven't yet. I haven't even read the book yet.
I want to see it. Like that is something I want to see.
I read Artemis, the book by the same dude who did The Martian and shit, because I liked The Martian in the book and I liked The Martian in the movie.
Artemis was really good.
Not so hot. It was all right.
What was Artemis?
It was fine.
Matt Damon stuck on the fucking moon of what is Artemis? Jupiter? No.
No, it was on the regular Earth moon. It was about a lady who was a welder on the moon.
Yeah, that's less inspiring.
I forget what the hell actually happened, but
I'm sure it was a good
more
book.
Or less that.
Really? Don't they have?
Well, they
no,
skipped
that's
over
not a moon.
For a movie.
I'm thinking of Titan, where they go to the planet Titan, but the way that you have to do it is you have to basically, it's Ben Affleck turning himself into this almost manatee kind of amphibian that can breathe in all of this methane gas and hold his breath underwater.
What the fuck was this?
Oh, it was a Netflix movie. It was believable up until a point where they were like the modifications they had to do to the human. Like it was like you had to expand their lungs, you had to help build them up and do this and do that, and it was progressive up until the point where it was like the Homo sapien became a Homo titanian or something, and Earth was dying, so they were trying to basically find a new home on Titan. And it was cool. It was just, there was a certain part of the movie where it's like, I just can't believe this, and the VFX effects were just shitty. And it was really good on the first half and middle, and then went to shit in the back half.
I saw another movie where they turned a dude into a walrus, but it was not a sci-fi movie. It was a like
Christmas
Nazi surgery horror movie.
Oh, well, that's slightly different. That's Nazism.
Yeah,
more
like Human Centipede, the human walrus.
That's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
Okay, so there's 7 variables.
So how many technologically advanced civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy are there? If you wanted to figure that out, you would first have to figure out, okay, what's the rate of star formation in the galaxy? That's an astronomy question. I'm sure people have a decent answer for that one. All right, next variable, fraction of stars with planets. How many of the stars in the galaxy have planets around them? And again, in the 60s, they had no fucking clue. Now we're finding out that, well, a lot of them do. Since the turn of the millennium, we've gotten pretty good at looking at
I guess at some point, tell me what the number is. What is the answer to Drake's equation? It's got to be more than 1.
It depends on your variables.
Well, yeah, but the consensus.
Right. Next, you want to know how many of these planets per solar system are suitable for life. And again, that runs into Goldilocks theory that you talked about last time. That, well, you really want to be a certain distance away from the sun for liquid water on the surface. If you want liquid water under the surface, well, that's a different ball game.
Well, so there's a thing where in Hail Mary, their entire angle that they go off of, which they're able to do faster than light travel, is life forms can be based off of something other than water. Like spoiler alert, he meets an alien that's a rock, and it's all about astrophage, which is
something that eats stars.
Carbon dioxide. And that's why it eats stars, because the byproduct of the star is carbon dioxide. So in the movie they explain it. The astrophage is inherently sensitive to spectral light, and especially to Venus's atmosphere, and so it multiplies. And so that astrophage will multiply, and what it'll do is the CO2 on Venus will allow it to, because it's a microorganism, will again multiply, and it has so much extra energy inside of itself, and I think it's because it's the byproduct of it eating CO2. The chemical, I'm sure there's a chemical equation that explains this a lot better, but the CO2 plus whatever's in the astrophage makes it, boom, high octane energy to where, okay, now we can go at faster than light travel. So, that being said, it's literal life forms that are based off of non-water. So it begs the question.
And again,
does
that's
Drake's
the
equation
problem
actually account for that?
That's the problem with the Drake equation here, that it's based off your current understanding of the universe and your current assumptions about, well, what does intelligent life look like? Does it's geared more or less towards something like humanity, something that, carbon-based, runs on liquid water at nice standard Earth temperatures. Right. It's easy to imagine shit that's a bit more exotic, shit that lives on the bottom of the ocean floor, shit that lives in the clouds of gas giants and shit.
Yeah.
That silicon-based life and shit like that.
So
methane-based life.
What else is there in regards to this equation?
Well, the next one's a doozy. Once you've got the number of planets per solar system suitable for life, then you have to figure out, well, what fraction of those planets actually contain life?
Yes.
And again, we're working with a sample size of 1. So, pretty good odds. But again, even in our solar system, sometimes people lump Mars into the habitable zone, or lump Venus into the habitable zone, into that Goldilocks area of, well, liquid water could exist if the atmosphere was right. And sure, if the atmosphere was right, that broadens things up a bit. But the point is that we've got a sample size of 1. What the fuck do you want to do?
Well, okay. So are those all the variables?
No. Then you have to figure out, well, if that's the number of planets with life, what fraction of those planets have intelligent life? And out of those planets with intelligent life, how many of them release signals of life that we're able to detect? And again, the big one there is radio waves.
Okay.
That's what we're pretty much looking for, because that's pretty much what we use. And again, if you try and stretch that assumption, what the fuck do you end up with, right? Like,
I don't know.
Like, it could be that the aliens are trying to communicate with whatever life is out there by Nazca lines, by drawing huge fucking scribbles in the rock. It could be they're trying to communicate through higher fucking dimensions.
Or they're just a simple farmer doing crop fields.
Yeah, they could be trying to communicate with us by mutilating cattle.
So, okay, but what is the answer to Drake's equation? The accepted one, not the, yes.
Again, our final variable is, well, if a civilization is able to detect signals that indicates that it's out there and alive and intelligent, well, how long is it able to do that? And again, if humanity only invented agriculture 7,000 years ago and nuked itself only a generation after inventing the radio, that puts a pretty harsh fucking damper on things. But we didn't nuke ourselves in the 60s. And haven't fucked up anything else royally enough to stop transmitting radio since then. So, at the end of the day, we don't know.
Well, that's real helpful.
A couple of these, you can find out. The first two, like rate of star formation and fraction of stars with planets and shit. After that, your guesses get real fucking dicey. But if you knew this information, it would crank out a pretty decent estimate of the number of technologically advanced extraterrestrials in the Milky Way galaxy. But we don't.
I'm still not hearing a number.
It should be more than 0.
That is such a fuck you way of saying, I don't
because
know.
we exist. We don't know.
Okay.
So what our listeners can do is they can take this simple, the simple third grade math, and they can do their own research, come up with numbers that look nice to them, and arrive at their own conclusions.
God damn it.
How many technologically advanced civilizations do you think exist in the Milky Way galaxy? Email us and find out.
Your timeout is over. As the final echoes of our broadcast dissolve back into the void, you return from the Conspiracy Corner. A place not of whispers and shadows, but of reflection. Because in every tale of hidden hands and unseen forces, there lingers something far more unsettling. Not what is out there, but what lies within ourselves. And one final thought to carry with you back into that darkness. That federal agents are like opinions. Everybody has one, and they all stink.